We're Thunderbear Studios, hosts of the Lore to Legend podcast. So follow us
into lore and legends.
And all we ask is that you bring your imagination.
Yes.
All right.
Right to vote. Cool.
You've already violated the the point of the thing is you don't refer to it.
There we go. Well, okay, that's a bit large, but all right.
He's not that blind.
I am big brain.
Big brain for a big boy.
Small boy.
I'll fight you.
Yeah, you lose.
I know where you sleep.
Sleep right over there
Exactly.
in that bed, very comfortably.
Michael is homeless and he sleeps in our office.
Yes.
What are we here to discuss, boys?
This is just a little get to know us section. We thought that it would be best going into our first story for people to have a better understanding of who we are as the creators. So we're just going to share like some simple stuff about like who we are, where we got a bunch of our inspirations.
Our favorite type of cheese.
No.
Well,
maybe.
Well, maybe at the end we'll discuss cheese.
Really?
Yeah, we can discuss cheese at the
Let's
end.
go.
And
I like some cheese.
you know, sometimes I dream about cheese.
That's when you know you're a real Wisconsinite.
True that.
So, if you are tuning in right now, you already know we are Thunderbear Studios, the Lore to Legends podcast. Hopefully by now you will have listened to our first episode for Sweet Haven. What's the first episode title? I can't remember.
Welcome to town?
No, I don't believe that's it. Hold on. Let me
What
pull
is it?
up the script.
I bet I can pull it up faster.
Bet you won't. Ah, you suck.
Ha!
No, why do I have to sign into my own computer? I'm already in it. Yes, I want to. Why are you asking me if I want to sign in? That is why I'm doing it. Oh.
It's called Sweet Haven.
That's the first episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so by now you will have heard episode 1, Sweet Haven. Yeah. Hopefully you liked it. I know we liked recording it. But now we thought, get to know the people who made it. So who wants to start us off? Who wants to dox themselves on internet right
Live on the internet.
Live from New York. It's Saturday night. It's not actually Saturday night.
It's like a Thursday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
No.
Tuesday.
I would be so sad if it was Thursday.
This is Tuesday, you weirdos.
We've already had this discussion, Michael.
Oh, no.
It's Fridays, not Tuesdays.
Oh. It's been a long day. Alright. Well, I guess I could go first because y'all are cowards.
Yes.
I was just being polite. I didn't want to take the show.
I was being a coward.
I don't know what's happening here. But my name is Michael. Most people call me Mikey, by the way. You guys are more than welcome to. A little bit of background of myself. I am a middle child, and I was a bit of a book nerd growing up. Now I'm very heavily just a nerd. I've expanded my horizons. Let me think. What else are we supposed to, mention?
You have the list right there.
Well, yeah, but who are you? But
No,
are
who
we
are you?
just going through? Is there more who are you stuff that we
I
should
mean,
know?
whatever you feel comfortable saying.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
if you want to give your full address,
I
wouldn't advise it, but
I like stealing cars.
So if there's any police officers listening right now, he didn't say that.
Never happened. What are some stories that have inspired you? That is an interesting question.
Do we want to tackle the who are we first and then do that?
Like, do everyone
Yeah,
does
do
that?
everyone.
Yeah,
Go
fine. We'll
back.
go through. Jacob next.
Yeah. So I'm Jacob. Most people call me Jacob.
I call him Jim.
I'm Jacob. I am a youngest child. Unfortunately, in some cases. I will say that I got bullied a bunch as a kid because of my brothers. They will claim that it was justified. I don't know who's right in that situation, but yeah, I was very much a nerd, less of a book nerd and more of a video game nerd.
Yeah.
I played quite a few video games growing up. I watched a ton of movies. We didn't watch too much in the way of modern movies. We generally would watch older movies. But yeah, just kind of growing up, we would watch the older movies, and then into the teenage years when I started getting into the modern movies, it was like, some of these are pretty good, and some of these are not pretty good. Yeah.
So I guess that leaves me. Hi, I am Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Hi, Paul.
I've been 28 years sober.
He's 37.
I had a dark past as a 5-year-old. Anyhow, also like.
He also can't do math, apparently.
Hey, listen, that's why I'm into writing, not math.
37 minus 28, Paul.
9. Hey, it didn't say that.
He didn't say he started drinking at 9.
I said I've been sober since I was 9. So hey, what I said still works. Anyway, I also am a youngest child, although I was practically a single child, an only child, because my other siblings were so much older than me that they were like already in high school or off to college. So instead of having older siblings that bullied me, like my good friend Jacob, it was more like having multiple parents, which meant that I couldn't get away with anything.
I relate.
So yeah, that was family life growing up, which I think helped me turn out pretty good. But yeah, also big nerd. Not really a big gaming nerd or book nerd. I was like anything Star Wars, sci-fi, anything comic book, superheroes. That was my jam. Whether it was books, movies, TV shows, that was my realm of nerddom. So that was me growing up, really. And then we're here now today, which I guess is a good segue to the next question on our thing. And what are some stories that inspired us? So I'll go ahead and kick it back off since I'm already talking. I already said Star Wars, comic book superheroes, huge for me growing up. And honestly, that's probably the biggest inspiration that I've had storytelling-wise. Star Wars especially is like, I'm better now, but for a long time, I ate, breathed, dreamt everything Star Wars. Like if it was Star Wars, I would think about it all the time. I'm ashamed to say this, but I have over 100 pages of Star Wars lore and fan fiction, the good kind of fan fiction, in various Word docs on my computer. I was probably insufferable, but honestly, Star Wars and the whole story of right versus wrong, good and evil that George Lucas created in that universe, really good, really fascinating, and the whole aesthetic also is phenomenal. That biggest inspiration for me, really. Honorable mention, Dwayne McDuffie's entire superhero series world that he made with the DCAU. Phenomenal. Best DC like combined universe that there is.
Yeah, for me, I grew up kind of watching Star Wars. My dad wasn't like a huge fan of it, but we watched the movies. I remember like as a kid, we had a place where we could rent movies, and they had the Clone Wars movie.
Yes.
The animated Clone Wars movie.
Yes.
Really bad one.
And I remember watching the opening to it, and it was playing clips that weren't from the movie. And me and my brothers were all just like, oh, why is there just like random clips of other things that are happening that don't happen in the movie? And like 5 years later, we found out that Star Wars The Clone Wars was a TV show. So it was like, whoa! So that was a part of my childhood. But like I said, I didn't grow up watching much modern stuff. Growing up, we watched cowboy movies a bunch. We watched pirate movies. We watched a bunch of like Robin Hood stories. I remember that
Classic.
the
Classic.
Adventures of Robin Hood TV show that was from like the 60s. We watched that over and over and over again. And that's kind of where I got my love for fantasy. Honestly, just that vibe and aesthetic of medieval stuff. But I would say probably the biggest thing that inspired me is when my dad introduced us boys to Star Trek. Because we had already watched Star Wars a bunch. And my dad not grew up, but in his teenage years and young adulthood, he watched Star Trek a bunch. And watching that, it sort of clicked something in my brain of, oh, it doesn't just need to be cool for me to get something out of this. There's some thought-provoking stuff that I can get from it. And the more I started watching more modern stuff, I could see areas where I could get something thought-provoking out of it. And then there were a lot of areas where I watched stuff and I'm like, there wasn't really any second thought put in this, was there? There's no deeper meaning. There's just...
It's about as shallow as a kiddie pool.
Yeah. So, honestly, those kinds of things were really where I got my inspirations from.
Alright. So, now we're really going to see the book nerd. I will say, as a kid, I very much watched Star Wars. I was a big Star Wars guy. I even watched some Robin Hood and stuff like that. But as I said before, this is where you're gonna see just how much of a book nerd I was. For example, Robin Hood. I was introduced to Robin Hood not by a TV show. I think I watched the Errol Flynn movie.
Ooh, that's
at one point as a kid.
Possibly the best
But
Robin
the
Hood.
biggest thing that introduced me to it was I got my hands on a copy. It was written in Old English of the original Robin Hood
Holy
myths.
cow.
nice.
And
Wow.
I read that as a 10-year-old.
What?
So, that was a big thing for me. Tolkien's world, very well done. I own all the good books that he wrote, not the ones that his son edited. That sometimes, most of it is good, but sometimes it's a little weird, it's a little funky. But I do own a copy of the Silmarillion, but that's the only one that I got.
Silmarillion.
Whatever it is, I can never pronounce it because I learned it when I read it. I learned it in my brain, and it made sense. And in case you haven't noticed, even though English is the only language I know, I suck at talking in it.
He's very bad at English.
But so that was a big thing. We watched the movies as a family too. That was a big thing. Was we had like a set age where you could watch the Lord of the Rings movies for the first time, and I was super excited because one of the criteria was you had to read through the books. So 11. It might have been 10. I think it was 10. Was when I got through all of the books for the first time, and my mom let me watch them. And then the Hobbit movies came out, and that was super cool. They're not as good, but you know, they were pretty cool.
Hot take. I think you should watch the Hobbit movies before you read the Hobbit book. It'll make them more enjoyable.
The movies?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because they're not based on it.
Yeah.
No, I have an entire segment that I would introduce people to with Tolkien's world. Yeah, that C.S. Lewis was one I read. I read some more modern stuff too. I read Aragon as a kid. That one struggles a bit in terms of some pacing and stuff, reading it back, but it's still a good fantasy world with world building and stuff like that. But I would say the biggest one for me that really made me notice character arcs when those come down to it would probably be Tolkien stuff. Because you very much see, he puts a lot of care into the world, but he also does have the characters, especially when you watch the movies. Peter Jackson gives them bigger character arcs than they do.
Peter Jackson understood the stories that Tolkien was trying to tell with each character.
Exactly.
Yeah, he definitely spent his time understanding the world before he
so that is one of my
jumped into that.
I don't know what that is. I'm scared. But yeah, so that was Lord of the Rings was a big one. Also, this is one of my favorite books. Like it's pretty far up there. Well, okay, twofold. My favorite author is Robert Louis Stevenson.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Swiss Family Robinson. No,
I'm joking.
I was like, that's not the right one.
Not the right one.
You tried to catch me. No, because Treasure Island, I read that as a kid. That has some great character arcs. I very much see Jim Hawkins as the story goes on. I actually wrote a paper about it in college, so that shows you how much I love that book. I subjected myself to writing a paper about it. And also, my favorite book of all time is called The Black Arrow.
Ooh, Black Arrow.
That's a good
by
one.
Robert Louis Stevenson.
That's a good one.
I adore that book. It is an amazing series. If you haven't read the book, I would encourage you to read it. It can drag on a little bit, but it's worth it. It's worth the read. So yeah, I would say those were the biggest ones that inspired me. As Jacob mentioned, they really show you that stories are a way to tell lessons in an easier to understand media than just sitting someone down and telling it to their face.
Yeah. I mean, some of the most well-known stories in history, Jesus' parables, the quintessential storytelling with a higher purpose. Stories have meaning, stories have power. They are the best way to get something across to people because who doesn't love a good story?
That being said, that very much just went into why we are doing this.
It's almost like we planned this out or something.
Whoa! Did we now?
That I did not plan out, no. But it was a perfect segue.
Yeah. So I would say that's the biggest thing on why we're doing this. But another thing is, once again, we were talking about like the Clone Wars. Scooby-Doo was a cartoon that my family watched a lot as a kid. It didn't have a ton of character arcs and anything like that. It was just kind of dumb fun for a lot of it, which that's okay too. But something that we've noticed as it's gone on, and this is very much just talking with some friends that I've had who, everyone's kind of started down that path where you got to think about having kids and all that. When you reach a certain age. Most of my friends have been like, yeah, I'll show them this show from my childhood, like Avatar: The Last Airbender or something. It is an amazing show, but the biggest thing for me was having that story where you could talk to kids on the playground. That was how I made a lot of friends, because, I was a book nerd. I read a lot of books. Some of them were more modern books, some of them were really old books. It very much bounced around, but I also, normally it was quite a bit after they came out, but I would watch shows or something to talk to my friends with.
Yeah.
Or I would go to a friend's house and they would be watching a show and I'd sit down and watch it with them. And that was a big way that I connected, was through stories that we shared. Showing kids the stuff from your childhood is good.
Yeah.
And I think absolutely you should do that, but also I think they should have stuff for their own.
Yeah, because they're not going to, unless their friends' parents are also showing them stuff from their childhood, they're not going to have anything to connect with those people with. Which, I mean, that's something that we get into a whole conversation about. The loss of modern media and the discussion at the water cooler, but that's something that we're losing overall. Like, there aren't shows nowadays where people are actually talking to each other about it, and not shows where multiple generations could enjoy equally.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nowadays it's either excessively adult or very, very dumbed down kid show.
Yeah.
Which
you've missed the middle ground.
Yeah.
That's kind of gone.
Which is also kind of insulting to kids because there were plenty of shows when I was a kid that were way more intelligent than what's being made now.
Yeah. There are so many shows that we grew up with not being treated like idiots while we were watching shows.
At least not by the shows.
At least not by the shows.
yeah.
And we loved them. And now we're grown up. And so the companies that made those shows are like, oh, let's keep reaching those people that used to watch our shows. But now they're adults, so we can do whatever we want in those shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of left the kids that are growing up now high and dry. Yeah, with nothing. Like, there, you can find the occasional show that'll pop up that has some good stuff in it. Bluey. But for the most part, most shows are geared towards teenagers, young adults, older adults.
Yeah.
That's it. Or little children.
Yeah.
There's nothing for that young teenager, early teens age.
Yeah, prepubescent, almost on the cusp of adulthood.
And there's also not really all that much that's there for families. Something that you can sit down as a family and watch. Like, Grandpa can sit down with Dad and the kids, and they can watch something, and it's not something where Grandpa's fallen asleep the first 5 minutes in. The kids are playing on their iPads, not paying attention, and Dad's the only one that really cares. You know, something that engages with and catches the attention of everyone who's watching.
Yeah. And I think that's a good segue into our next point. What do we hope to gain and achieve from this? I think we all have different ideas on what it looks like. For me personally, though, it's how I'm going to know if we made it is 10 years, walking down the street, seeing kids play as characters from maybe a show or something that we had helped making. That's how I'm going to know we made it.
Yeah.
Is just seeing the fact that we have made that impact. We've sparked that playground conversation. There's that weird book nerd in the corner who's finally able to relate to the other kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I don't want to talk out of turn or for everyone, but I think we all agree, like Michael said, we'll know that we have achieved our goal when we see quality stories with clean content reach the mainstream again.
Yeah.
Where we see those kids talking about, oh, did you see the latest episode of such and such? And, oh man, I just got the newest action figure for so-and-so. Having people buy merch and stuff for that and buying tickets to movies that hopefully maybe we'll be releasing someday. That'd be great, but we're not in it for the money aspect.
We kind of want a boat. It's going to be a nice boat, too.
Me and Jacob aren't in it for the money. Money's nice. Money's good. Money is useful for living. Money is useful for producing more content for you all.
You can buy a boat.
And you can buy a boat.
Guys, should I put up a GoFundMe for a boat?
No. I don't think anyone's going
Be
to
respectable. Put a GoFundMe up for a missile.
yeah. At least you can do good with missiles.
Exactly. I'm going to make them give me a boat.
Anyhow. We are doing this for you and for us. Not for monetary gain, but because we want to reintroduce family entertainment into the mainstream once again.
I will say, it should be stated, by the way, as of now, this company is a net loss.
We are at a net loss. Yeah. I mean, you can see our dedication based on how much money we have put into this so far, and we are only in it, like, what?
A month.
I mean,
like 2 months at this
Well,
point.
technically, we're 6 months into it.
Yeah, it started in
that's true.
December.
We're 6 months into this. Officially, we've been a company for less than a month.
Yeah.
And we are already out, not a huge amount of money, but definitely money that we could be using for other things.
There's a decent chunk, yeah.
So we're not.
I could have bought a boat.
He could not have.
He could-
Could have been a kayak. It still counts.
I don't think he could have bought a kayak with that.
Probably not.
Have you seen kayaks?
Kayak.
I used to work at Walmart. I know how much kayaks cost.
Like a great kayak, but like it has a
Homemade
couple of
kayak?
holes, but it's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean that's really it. We're looking to bring family back to the mainstream.
It's very much something that I really want to work towards with this kind of thing. Is, who knows, 10 years, 20 years down the line, I can sit down with one of my kids and we can be watching something that we made, and I don't have to say, well, I made that for them to enjoy it. They're just sitting down, we're sitting down as a family just enjoying something that maybe we made, and they're enjoying it without me ever having to say, yeah, I did that. Dad helped with that. It's just something that they can watch and enjoy as a family.
Mm-hmm. Our philosophy is we don't want to ever feel like we have to apologize for something that we've made, whether it's to our family, like parents, grandparents, or to our future family, wife, children. We want to be proud in what we make, and whether people recognize that it was us that made it, don't really care. Just as long as it's good, it's quality, and it's clean.
Yeah.
And we buy a boat.
Okay, if you mention that boat one more time.
Just seeing how long it takes.
You're
for
never
Paul.
getting a boat, Mike.
just seeing how long it takes.
If
for
you
Paul
ever
to snap.
attempt to purchase a boat, I will stop it. I will blow up the boat myself.
Anyways, I feel like that is all the time we have.
Probably.
More than likely.
So let's do the closing thing.
Yeah. So, that was us in a nutshell. What our thoughts are, our inspirations, our feelings.
Our dreams.
Just some basic getting to know us kind of stuff. Who we are, what we are drawing from to make the stuff that we are. But yeah, next week is going to be the second episode of Sweet Haven.
What happened in the mansion, or something like that.
What happened at dinner?
What happened at dinner that happens to be in a mansion.
No, you can't spoil the mansion part. That's
They already know that there's a
big
mansion.
part of the story.
You're a big part of the story. Anyhow,
Say it if you just assume.
next week, episode 2. You don't want to miss it. Lots of revelations.
It's going to be a fun time.
So we'll see you then.
Stay frosty.
Oh, don't say that.
What's wrong with staying frosty?
Bye!